My wife said she was going to her sister's. At 10:46 p.m., I checked her location and saw she was at a hotel 25 miles from home. I didn't freak out. I didn't call. I didn't even text. I just got in my car and drove. What I saw there changed everything. But the scariest part? It didn't start at the hotel. Listen until the end and decide for yourself. What would you have done in my place? This is When Love Betrays. Real stories of heartbreak, betrayal, and truth. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, but let me start at the beginning. I'm 34. My wife, let's call her Alice, and I have been married for 6 years. At first, it was that insane kind of love, the can't keep our hands off each other phase. But then came the usual stuff: mortgage, job changes, burnout, trying for a baby, visits to her parents. The romance turned into logistics. Still, I always believed we were honest with each other, even when it was hard. It all started on a Friday around 5 p.m. I was wrapping up work early, finished a call, a meeting got canceled. So I thought, why not surprise her? I'd grab her favorite sushi, a bottle of wine. Nothing fancy. Just one of those small, boring things that don't feel like romance anymore, but are actually what keeps things going. I called her to ask what she'd want for dinner. No answer. Then I got a text. Sorry, I'm at my sister's. Nastia's panicking. Had a big fight with her husband. I'm going to stay with her tonight, if that's okay. I'll be back in the morning. Seemed legit. Her sister Nastia is younger. They're close. She's stayed with us before, during rough patches in her marriage. I replied, Of course. Let me know when you get there. And that should have been the end of it. But there was one thing I didn't plan on. About an hour later, I was double-checking if some logistics data had been delivered to a client. When I opened my browser, I noticed a tab still open, Family Link. It's a tracking app we both use, just in case. It's not spying. We both know the passwords. We set it up together. Once I found her lost phone with it. Another time, she helped me find my car keys. I don't normally use it. But that night, I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to make sure she got there safely. I refreshed the location. Hilton Garden Inn, 38.2 kilometers from our house. I froze, refreshed again. Same spot, same label. I thought, must be a glitch. Maybe Nastia lives nearby. Nope. I know where Nastia lives. It's a basic 2-bedroom in an old building. The Hilton? That's a business hotel off the highway near the mall. We stayed there once on our way back from the cottage. I checked the route. Alice had driven past Nastia's neighborhood by at least 20 kilometers and stopped there. My brain went into a spiral of logic, panic, and desperate optimism. Maybe Nastia's staying there. Maybe Alice mixed something up. Maybe there's a work thing. I texted Nastia. Hey, everything okay? Is Alice with you yet? 15 minutes. No reply. 10 more. Message marked as read. Still no response. I didn't panic. Not yet. I drove to Nastia's place, just to make sure. Her car was parked out front, lights on inside. I rang the bell. Her husband answered. He clearly wasn't expecting me. Hey, Josh? No. Alice isn't here, if you're looking for her. Nastia hasn't even talked to her today. I nodded, keeping my face still. Everything okay? He asked. I forced a smile. Yeah, just a mix-up. And I left. When I got home, I checked again. Hilton Garden Inn. Current activity. Inactive. Normally, when Alice isn't moving, she's at least online, checking messages, Scrolling. Now? Nothing. And the worst part wasn't that she wasn't at her sister's. It was that she knew I could see her location. She knew, and still went there. That meant one thing. She didn't care anymore. She was counting on my silence. I didn't call. I didn't text. I just opened my laptop, pulled up a blank document, and started writing down everything I could remember. Every little moment. Every word. Every date. Because something had just shifted, and I had the feeling. This was the start of a war. A personal one. I just didn't know yet who the real enemy was. After that night, I barely slept. I'm not the kind of person who flips out. I don't blow up people's phones with, "Where are you?" texts. I don't send screenshots in all caps demanding answers. I'm different. When someone lies to me, I go still. I observe. I start recording everything in my head. Because if what I suspect turns out to be true, I won't need rage. I'll need clarity. Alice came home on Saturday, around noon. I heard the front door open, the sound of her bag hitting the floor. Footsteps. Normal. A little tired. She walked into the kitchen and saw me with a cup of coffee. Smiled. "Hey, you're home." "Yeah." Nastia totally fell apart last night. We talked for hours. She even cried a little. Her husband. Well, I'll tell you about it later. She came closer and kissed me on the cheek. But I could smell someone else's shower gel on her. Not her usual scent. Not her pillow. Something different. "You have no idea how exhausted I am. I just want to shower and a movie with you." I nodded. Didn't say a word. She headed to the bedroom. I sat at my laptop and pulled up Google location history, just to be sure. Hilton Garden Inn. From 7:24 p.m. to 11:03 a.m. No movement, no trips to Nastia's. She was there all night. That evening I acted like everything was normal. We watched a show together. She fell asleep on my lap. Sometimes people do that not out of love, but guilt. Or worse. Because they've stopped fearing closeness. Sunday felt like playing chess against a ghost. I kept telling myself, if I confront her now, I'll lose the only advantage I have. Proof. She'll flip the script, call me paranoid, and say, "You destroyed us with your suspicions." So I decided. Let her dig her own hole. Let her confirm the lie herself. On Monday, I went to work like usual. Later, she texted me, "Thank you for the weekend. I know I can be difficult sometimes, but you're my rock." I replied, "Glad you're home." Then, I called Nastia. "Hey, it's Josh. Can we talk?" Without Alice. There was a pause. Then she whispered, "She didn't tell you?" "Tell me what?" Nastia sighed. "Josh, I wasn't even home Friday. I was with our parents. I only found out from Alice that we talked on Sunday." "So, you didn't ask her to come over?" "No, in fact, I haven't even seen her in 2 weeks. Thanks, Nastia. That's all I needed." I hung up, and everything clicked, every last puzzle piece. I started collecting everything. Screenshots, location history, phone records, old card statements, to see if she'd been there before. Her browser history, too. She wasn't exactly careful. There it was. Directions to Hilton, an open tab with a suite for 2 with breakfast. But the most important thing was timing. Now I knew she had a routine, that she could disappear to her sister's. So next time, I just had to be nearby. I set up a camera in the parking lot, discreet, right across from her driver's seat. She always assumed I wasn't watching, that I was too trusting. And she's right. I don't spy. I document the lies. A week later, she said it again. Nasty is crying again. I'm going to check on her. Hope that's okay. I told her. Of course. Tell her I'm here if she needs anything. She smiled and left at 6:09 p.m. By 6:41, her car was parked at the Hilton Garden Inn. Again, she went to her sister's again. And again, ended up at the same hotel. Hilton Garden Inn. According to the site, king bed, breakfast in room, late checkout. You know, when betrayal stops being a one-time thing and becomes a pattern, something inside you shifts. I didn't feel pain anymore. I felt like an observer, like I was watching it all from a distance, through glass. I drove there about an hour and a half later, parked across the street, sat at a small cafe, with a view of the hotel entrance and part of the lobby. I didn't know why I was there. It wasn't for a scene, not for a fight. I just wanted to see his face. A part of me wondered, what if I knew him? What if it was someone from our circle? Someone I'd shaken hands with at a party? Almost an hour passed. Just when I was about to leave, they came out. Alice and him, tall, athletic, mid to late 30s, dressed well, confident. Not a random hookup. Not some college ex. He was carrying a suitcase. She was laughing. They kissed by the car. He got in the driver's seat. She climbed in next to him. This wasn't a fling. This was a relationship. I didn't follow the car. I didn't need to. I knew everything I needed to know. 1. She lied. 2. She did it more than once. 3. She was doing it with someone important enough to be this bold about it. That evening she came home, kicked off her heels, sighed, walked into the kitchen. Josh? I'm here. She stepped in and kissed the top of my head. I'm so exhausted. Everything okay? I nodded. How was your day? I looked her straight in the eyes. I spent the afternoon at a cafe, with a view of the Hilton Garden Inn. Her face went pale. A second, then another, and suddenly, not fear, not panic, just calm defense. You were following me? No, I was just sitting there. Call it intuition. You're serious. Completely. Josh. She sat down across from me. It's not what you think. I didn't say anything. I wanted to tell you. I just didn't know how. It started after you. After I what? After you stopped noticing me. After all you did was work. After we started feeling like roommates. Still silent. I didn't plan it. It started with just talking. And then... What's his name? She looked away. Does it matter? Yes. Pause. Artyom. He's my project supervisor. Of course, work. Always nearby. Always accessible. Are you sleeping with him? She didn't answer. Just say it. Yes or no? Yes. And in that moment, I didn't feel an explosion in my chest. I felt collapse. Like a brick wall that had been standing for years, and someone finally pulled out the first brick. Then the second. Then the third. Until everything started to fall. Silently. Do you love him? I don't know. Do you want a divorce? I don't know. Do you want to stay with me? Silence. And that silence said more than any answer ever could. I stood up. You have 2 days to pack your things. Josh, wait. No drama, no tears. I don't need explanations. You already made your choice. She didn't scream, didn't apologize. She just sat at the table, staring into her coffee, like maybe somehow this could still be fixed. And I just walked to the bedroom, sat down on the bed, and realized this is the end. When someone betrays you in your own home, even the walls start breathing differently. She left the next day. No drama, no screaming, no begging at my feet. She packed her things in silence. Now and then, we locked eyes, but not with guilt, not anger. It was something else. Like she wasn't looking at her husband, but at a failed project. I watched her go with almost no emotion, like watching furniture being carried out. Boxes, shadows of words. When she shut the door behind her, I sat down in the kitchen, and I heard silence. Not peaceful silence, the echoing kind, like an empty movie theater after the credits roll. I didn't cry. I just sat there, not knowing what to do next. The first thing I did was go see a lawyer. No yelling, no theatrics. We didn't have kids. Assets split evenly. The car was mine. Alice didn't fight it. She left calmly, without demands. Didn't even try to argue. As if she already knew this was coming. As if she knew that once the truth came out, there'd be nothing left to say. On the second day after she left, I found her toothbrush in the bathroom, a blow dryer, a t-shirt in the closet. I packed it all in a bag, left it on the porch. I didn't take her calls for a week. Then she messaged me. I'm sorry. Not for cheating, for not leaving sooner, for lying to your face. I didn't know how to do the right thing. I'm not trying to win you back. I just want you to know this wasn't because of you. You were good, maybe too good. I couldn't live up to that. I didn't respond, just saved it. For the next time, I start thinking, maybe it wasn't that bad. 2 weeks passed. I started sleeping again. My appetite came back. And then, I saw them. I was standing in line at the mall, getting coffee. She walked by with him. He held her hand. They were laughing. They didn't see me. Good. I looked at them and realized she was already in a new life, and I was still stuck in the old one. I didn't text her, didn't call, even though everything inside me was screaming. I wanted to ask, how long? Why him? What did I do wrong? But I didn't, because I understood something. This wasn't my war anymore. She wasn't my woman. This wasn't my pain, not my story, not anymore. And then, a month later, she called. Her voice was shaking. Josh, can I come over? Why? I messed up. I don't know what I want. I thought it was real, but it's just empty. With you, at least, it felt real. I stayed quiet. You have no idea how hard it's been. I thought it'd be easy. I thought it was love, but it's just pretty on the outside, hollow inside. I'm not asking to come back. I just wanted to talk. I closed my eyes. You know, Alice, the worst part isn't even that you cheated. It's that you were willing to lie to my face for months, smile at me, kiss me goodnight, all while being sure I'd never notice, or maybe worse, that I'd notice, and let it go. She cried on the line. Josh, I killed everything. I know I did. I nodded, even though she couldn't see. Yeah, you did. And I'm not your rescue mission. After that call, I just sat there, in silence. In the kitchen, the place where she used to slice tomatoes, boil water for tea. On the chair where she'd sit cross-legged, scrolling through her phone. Next to the door, the one she no longer walked through. And for the first time in a month, I felt lighter. I suddenly realized I wasn't afraid anymore. I didn't feel the need to fix things or understand her, because I no longer needed her to come back. Still, 3 days later she showed up. No call, no warning. She just rang the doorbell one evening, her voice shaking. I didn't know if you'd open. I looked at her. Same jacket, same eyes. But everything about her felt off. Even her hair, somehow not hers. like she'd already become part of another life, and now she was standing here with a suitcase full of memories. "Can I come in?" she asked softly. I nodded. Let her in. She stepped inside carefully, like she didn't belong there anymore. She paused at the kitchen entrance, looked around. "You haven't changed anything." "Not yet," I said. She set her bag down, sat. "I don't know what to say," she exhaled. "I'm ashamed." "That's a good place to start," I said. She looked at me again. No defensiveness, no anger, just emptiness. "We broke up," she said. "Why?" She looked down. "He didn't want anything serious. Said it was passion. Just a few months. Then he started pulling away. And yesterday, he told me there's someone else. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who even wanted me anymore." "Alice," I said, calmly, "if you're only here because they didn't want you, that's not a reason to come back here." She went pale. "No, that's not it. I want what we had. But it's not coming back." Silence. I didn't comfort her. I didn't move closer. Didn't take her hand. She sat across from me, staring at nothing. Then she said, "I know I broke you, and I'm not asking for forgiveness just to earn a second chance. You were the only one who ever truly loved me." I stood up. "Alice, I don't need you to realize that, only after everything fell apart." She nodded, quietly, didn't cry, just stood up, picked up her bag, and left. I watched her go. Not with anger, but with a kind of peace. It wasn't the end. It was the closing chapter of the part of my life where I still held out hope. A couple days later, she texted me, "Thank you for not humiliating me, for not yelling, for letting me go like a human being." I didn't reply, because this time, silence was the perfect ending. 3 months passed. I was sleeping again, going to work, listening to music, sometimes even laughing with coworkers. Life was moving forward, or at least pretending to. But inside, I still felt like some part of me had been left behind on the side of the road. Not because she left, but how she left. With a betrayal so quiet, so casual, no drama, no emotion, like switching Wi-Fi providers. One day, I left work a little early, decided to walk home. On the way, I passed a bar Alice and I used to go to all the time. I didn't go in on purpose. It just happened to be there. I sat at the bar, ordered a bourbon, and then I heard it. A laugh I recognized. I turned. Him, Artyom, sitting near the front with a buddy, loud, confident, new jacket, expensive boots. I just stared. I don't know what I expected to feel. Pain, maybe. Contempt, maybe. But what I felt was rage. Quiet, dull, controlled rage. I walked over. "You Artyom?" He looked at me, smiled automatically, until recognition hit. Yeah. Who are you?" "Josh. Husband of the woman you were sleeping with behind my back. Ring a bell?" His face dropped. "Look, I didn't know she was still with you. She told me it was over." I nodded. "Right, of course. You all say that." "I didn't mean—" he started. "You didn't mean to? You know what's funny? I'm not even jealous. I'm just standing here thinking, this is who she blew up our life for?" He opened his mouth, probably to explain, or lie again. But I was already walking away. That night, I couldn't sleep. Only one thought circled in my head. They both knew everything, and did it anyway. She lied to me. He hid behind her version of the story. They acted like there would be no consequences. And for the first time, I didn't just let go. I wanted the truth to come out. The next morning, I sat down at my laptop and I wrote a post. No names, no obvious details, but 100% truth. My wife said she was staying at her sister's. I checked her location. She was at a hotel. A week later, same hotel. Turns out it wasn't a mistake. It was her co-worker. She lied to everyone, to me, to her sister, even to him. And when it all came out, she wanted to come back, because he had moved on. Don't let people come back, just because they have nowhere else to go. They're not sorry. They're just out of options. And you're not a backup plan. The post blew up. Comments started rolling in. Stay strong, brother. You handled it right. This crap happens way more than it should. Respect for staying composed. They don't come back because they love you. They come back because they're alone. I read every word, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone. But the story didn't end there. A week later, I got a text from one of her friends. Alice is spiraling. I'm not defending her, but be careful. She thinks you're starting a smear campaign. I hadn't done anything beyond telling the truth, but now I knew. It hurt, which meant one thing for the first time. She was facing consequences. It's been almost a month since I made that post. I never named names, never dropped any direct facts, but people find out, especially when you're someone who lied, not just to me, but to everyone around you. Alice reached out again, but this time, not to apologize. This time, it was a complaint. She showed up at my place one evening, no warning. When I opened the door, I almost didn't recognize her. Thinner, eyes different, like the mask was finally off, like she was just real, unfiltered, unglossed. We need to talk, she said. About what? About what you did. You told everyone. Do you know I haven't been invited back to work? Do you know people are sending me hate messages online? I never used your name, Alice. You knew they'd figure it out. I shrugged. And you knew the truth would come out eventually. You were just hoping I'd stay silent, weren't you? She stood in the hallway, then slowly sat down. Josh, I'm not a monster. I was just miserable. I needed love, warmth. You were cold, always working. And Artyom, at least he looked at me like a woman. I looked her in the eyes. You could have talked to me, left me, honestly. But you didn't. You chose to lie. For months. She wiped her face. Her eyes filled with tears. I thought I could keep both. Artyom and you. But when you told me you knew, I got scared. Because you didn't scream. You didn't lose it. You just went quiet. And then, when you exposed me, I realized I didn't just lose you. What then? Myself? I don't know who I am anymore. I walked over, sat across from her. Alice, I don't hate you, but I don't love you anymore either, and I'm not hurting anymore. Do you know why? She nodded, eyes still on the floor. Because I went through all of it, and I survived. I came out stronger. And you? You're still looking for someone to fill that hole inside you. She didn't argue, didn't look up. Then quietly she whispered, If I could take it all back, I cut her off. But you can't. She left 10 minutes later. We haven't seen each other since. Now 6 months later, I live in a new apartment. There's someone new. She's calm, grounded. We don't chase fairy tales. I'm not playing the savior. She's not playing the victim. And then one night, I got a text from an unknown number. I hope you're happy. Thank you for not breaking me. A. I smiled, deleted it, then went to make some tea. The house was quiet, but it wasn't the silence that follows betrayal. It was the kind that follows healing and survival.